Hi, mein Name ist Lior, ich bin 38 Jahre alt, ich komme aus Israel, aus Tel Aviv. Ich bin in Hamburg seit 2012. Ich wohne hier in Eimsbüttel, arbeite als IT-Manager. Was noch?
Was sind Ihre jüngsten Erinnerungen an Ihre Großmutter?
I remember two people who were immigrants until the end of their days, even when they already had money and had life and had everything. Those were people, yeah, my grandmother and my grandfather. Yeah.
Prägte das sich stark auf Ihr Leben aus, dass Sie immer als Immigranten zählten?
No, and I also didn't know any story most of my life. So I didn't know the story. I only discovered most of the story when I came here. So even my family, they didn't know most of the story. She didn't tell, which is a normal thing with this generation. Half a year after I moved here, I got a phone call from an author from Switzerland, and he told me, I'm writing a book about the brother of your grandmother. I want to meet you. And from that moment on began a big journey of discoveries. There were immigrants, they didn't have money. She worked as a cleaner in a house of some rich lady in Tel Aviv, and my grandfather worked as a gardener. And they were immigrants that came from rich families to nothing. The problem was when she started getting letters. And it's not the internet times, it's not even television time, and they only got rumors about what's going on in Europe. And everybody were afraid, and everybody was thirsty for small information, and she got letters. At a certain point, the Nazis told the family that got left here in Hamburg, you can leave Germany if you pay. Because Germany needed foreign money, so if you pay, but you cannot pay from your money, you have to bring foreign money. Someone from outside need to pay, so you will be able to leave Germany. And her sister and her father were here. And there is a telegram that the sister is writing to my whom I have it here. When she write her just in big letters, help, only you can help daddy. But she didn't have the money. She was immigrant, she couldn't. So her sister is writing her, help, only you can help daddy. She's there, she cannot help. A few years later, they are getting murdered, and she carried this all her life. That her sister telling her such a thing, and I don't know what she thought. Maybe she could get the money from somewhere. Maybe she didn't do enough. Maybe, I don't know. That's a horrible thing to live with. But she made, at the end, in her small house in Tel Aviv, 6 children, which was, even from the newspaper of the government, they came to take picture of it because it was like, Yekes is German Jews. They're called Yekes in Israel. I'm a Yeke, for example. It's because the Jews from Germany came to Israel and they kept going with jackets, even in the heat of Tel Aviv. So their name is the Yekes. It wasn't normal that a Yeke, 6 children. It wasn't normal, 3 children for these families. She had 6 children, and she always said 1 for each million. That was her principle. It was very hard, they didn't have money, but still. The family was, they cut the family, she made a tree bigger. But it wasn't easy life. Yeah. My grandmother came back to live in Hamburg in the 60s. And here she told the story to everyone. She worked with the Heinrich Herz Schule. She gave them all the documents, the letters that she got from Germany during the war, everything she had. Here she told everything.
Wow.
In Israel, nothing. There were the names, but these stories were never told. She never told about them. They never existed in our life.
Wie war es für dich, als du herausgefunden hast, was alles passiert ist?
It's still happening. Every few months something new is being discovered. 8 years after. You're growing up with these stories. You too. So in a way we are a bit immune to these stories, even to the photos. It became amazing, crazy stories, very sad stories, but you're going and you're passionate about it and you investigate more. There were certain times that I couldn't touch the material for a few weeks. There were certain times that even I couldn't process it immediately. But it's ongoing at the end. The goal is to tell the story. Remember, we have enough remembering.
Was war das meist Schockierende, was Sie über Ihre Oma herausgefunden haben in der Zeit?
Last year we discovered how Rolf, the brother, died. We thought he died in Auschwitz. We discovered that he died in Nordhausen in a very, very bad way also. And also then, like, I'm happy that she didn't know. I would live better if I wouldn't know.
Ja.
But this needs to be uncovered. So there is a greater cause here than our feelings.
Wie konnte Ihre Oma flüchten?
There was a generation of Zionists, all the young people that really, they rebelled their parents. Their parents says, if we will fight World War I, we will be accepted to the German society. Anti-Semitism will stop, we will be a part. And it didn't happen. And her generation, and she's telling about it, is rebelling against them. They still have anti-Semitism. Hitler goes to power, and suddenly comes the Zionist movement and tell them there is a home for all of us, a place that nobody hates us. Her father was against this Zionist movement. He was a Deutsch, and he believed that he's German and this is their place. But she and her brother Rolf became very passionate about this story. She also fell in love with one of the young boys in the Achshara camp, so it helped her a bit to decide. And Achshara is Ausbildung, basically. 1 year they are learning in this Achshara camps. This one in Rizm, she was. They learn how to work the land, milk cows, and everything they will need to do in Eretz Israel that they never learned to do here in Hamburg, of course. And after this 1 year of Ausbildung, they go on a ship, most of them legally, later with the years illegally, and immigrate to Israel. So from one very hard place with anti-Semitism and Nazism to another very hard reality. Immediately when Germany and Israel established diplomatic relationship, she was on one of the first civilian airplanes to Hamburg. She wanted to see what happened with her city. She lived here, she was very active here, she was a reporter in the Stern or something like that. That was her place.
Was glaubst du, kann man dagegen oder was können wir alle dagegen tun?
Educate for tolerance, educate to know more different kind of people, tell the story of what happened, but mainly educate to accept other people and for tolerance.
Wieso war es dir so wichtig, das herauszufinden?
Why it was important to find these things? Who won't do it if not us? Fanatics exist, violence exists, hate exists, it can come.